Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
Fancy new microphones.
I'm sorry if you can hear literally everything.
Yeah, they're pretty sensitive, so there will be definitely a little bit of a breaking in period where we get used to how sensitive they actually are.
Yep.
So anyway, this is one of our Wednesday episodes, which means it is sponsored by Gray Fox Games, our awesome sponsors. So the last week it's been a roller coaster of emotion since the last time we recorded. So we
not quite a glass cage.
Not a glass cage.
Okay.
No, very roller coastery. So we record on Mondays.
You can't drink milk in a glass on a roller coaster.
That's true.
It's a bad choice.
Poor life choices.
Mm-hmm.
But Tuesday I got a call from a company I had applied to the previous Thursday saying they wanted to fly me out, put me in a hotel room to interview for their position here in Denver at their corporate headquarters in Pennsylvania. And I was like, fuck yeah, because this job is pretty sweet. It's like right up my alley. I'd be getting to work on like high-tech automated systems, like repair stuff for them. And it would pay a lot more than any job I've had since I got out of the military. And it would have by far and away the best benefits I've ever had since I got out of the military. So I was really excited Tuesday, and that carried over into Wednesday, where I was working up at the other shop, so I wasn't at Epic having my soul crushed.
As is tradition.
Yeah, I was up at the shop making even better money than I normally would make at Epic. I had job prospects, I thought. Things were going good. Rolled into the weekend. Got to hang out with Megan a fair amount. She was off most of the weekend, so we got to spend a bunch of time together. Had an awesome D&D session for Mile High Dungeon Delvers on Sunday. And then... But it was a slowly filling sense of dread as Thursday passed, Friday passed, and the company hadn't got a hold of me to confirm travel plans. And then I tried getting a hold of them today, no luck. And so now I'm like, I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith. Like, I feel like if they really wanted to get me out there, they'd be making more of an effort to actually get me out there or communicating with me in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know. And then today, while I was at work, I was back at Epic for the first time in like 2.5, like not quite 2.5, like a week and a half.
Yeah.
And it was soul crushing as ever.
It was hot.
I was definitely a little hot at one point. The sun was definitely beating down.
And then I showed you that it was 64 degrees out.
And I said, I don't care. The sun is out and it is cooking me like a lobster.
That's not hot.
And then Jeff apparently being offended that I thought it was hot when it was 64, then tried to literally crush me.
Yes.
With a stack of empty kegs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still.
I was unsuccessful.
Oh, you were not. There were degrees of success. my foot was crushed. My Achilles is hanging on by a strand. I'm gonna go up the stairs and it's gonna snap like a rubber band.
Ultimate flat tire.
Yeah. Reaffirmed why I'm glad that I always wear my steel toe boots to that place.
Except it was the back, so it's
but they're nice big like leather work boots, so they gave me a lot
ankle protection.
Yeah.
Then I heard stories of times when people's feet actually got run over by a forklift, and those are real gross.
Oh yeah, which I saved from happening to a coworker 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
While you were also on the forklift.
Yes.
Jeff, why do you want to run us all over with
Because
forklifts?
he was standing there, staring off into the distance with a forklift working around him. I expect nothing less from him.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's a real good thing for him that I looked up from my phone when I did, because I saw that he was about to lose his foot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I didn't hit him, though.
No, you didn't hit him. You did hit me.
Yeah.
But
because you're so tiny. Easy to miss.
Are you ever going to just like casually say, hey, I'm sorry I crushed you with a forklift?
I did say I was sorry.
I never heard of sorry.
Yeah, I said I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier when I checked if you were all right and if we needed to amputate.
Well, how about that? If he didn't say that, he's sorry that it offended you.
Yeah, all of this.
I'm sorry you didn't hear me say I was sorry.
Sorry you didn't get out of the way, Adrian.
Yeah.
Crushed. Yeah, so that's been my week. A little bit of board games on Wednesday, and like I said, D&D on Sunday. But otherwise, it's been more of a laid back few days for me. So
Gotcha.
What about you guys? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. No end in sight.
No end in sight. At one point, I was going from one island to another island, and then as I was passing by on my boat, I see on this middle island a cultist. Then I'm like, oh, I should go kill him real quick. 4 hours later, I left that island because I
assume it wasn't a small island.
No, it was a decently sized island, but I got involved in. So there's a grand conspiracy in Assassin's Creed for this one, and this is before the Templars and the Assassins actually existed. So this one was the Cult of Cosmos that you're trying to find and kill. And one of their members was on this island. I go there, and then I here's a little side quest. Let me go talk to them. And they're like, help! We need help from this like shadow group called the Dagger. Then we need to help eradicating them. So I spent about 4 hours doing that, and then other things on the island. And then I was like, I guess I could go to Athens now. So I am really frustrated that Red Dead Redemption is so close.
Friday.
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm going to do if I try and get that with while still having Assassin's Creed Odyssey like nowhere near finished. So
yeah, maybe just don't buy Red Dead.
That's what it's looking for right now. Yeah, I heard that online isn't going to be
till like November.
Yeah, so
it's not far. Weeks after launch.
Yes. So maybe I'll use that time to do it, but then
put in another good 60 hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. The frustrating thing is that sometimes when you do like you clear out an entire camp and then 2 mercenaries come and attack you, and the second mercenary kills you when it's almost dead, and then it resets to before you cleared the camp.
Oh, super!
And I'm like, God damn it! But if I'd left the camp, then it would have auto saved because it's like, hey, you moved from a danger area to a non-danger area, but it didn't do that. So, but it's been a lot of fun so far.
I bought a new video card.
Is this one actually going to work?
Well, I was given the other ones, the spares that Zach had, and technically they both worked. And I don't think my computer freezing issues were from the video cards. The second video card definitely worked better. It froze less,
right?
And it may have had to do with like old video drivers and then new video drivers, and then I had to actually go back to old ones, and maybe that was something. But it still freezes every once in a while, and I don't know why. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I bought a new video card, a Radeon, like not a 580X,
which is like you said is comparable to the 1060, right?
A little bit above the 1060. It's between a 1060 and a 1070. Which I was looking for like a good deal on a 1070, but that wasn't rolling around, and I was tired of waiting around for a video card.
And you got like 3 games.
And I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey free with the purchase, and then the new Star Control game, which I love Star Control. So looking forward to that coming in this week, and I can play computer war games again.
Computer.
Yes.
You can finally get that Terraforming Mars on Steam.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and hard wait on that one from what everyone's been saying. It's a good version.
So it's $25, which
is expensive,
which a lot of people were not expecting.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't have drafting because drafting is a variant in the game. Even though it's pretty much anybody who like plays it enough
plays drafting.
Yeah. And they've said that they're going to put it in at some point. So I'm expecting November or December.
It may have been an AI issue that was keeping the drafting from coming out first thing.
I could understand that because that would be harder to program.
But why not just put it in there for like non-AI games?
Yeah.
Like a variant, maybe?
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, maybe that's how they will first introduce it. But we'll, looking
Fingers
forward.
crossed.
Yeah. And
maybe a sale. $25 is a little much. Just like Terraforming Mars, maybe a little overpriced.
You're not wrong. I've heard it looks good though.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of it, and the oceans all coming together on the map all look good, and the greenery and stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks real pretty, but not.
If they had drafting, I would consider buying it. At
25, that's my line.
Yeah.
But what happens when they start releasing expansion for this? Like, Venus gonna come out and be like $15 for Venus expansion? It's gonna be what's our expansion prices now?
I don't know.
Hopefully, maybe because they'll have them they might actually be quite a bit cheaper.
Fingers crossed.
They have a lot of the key code mechanics behind the cards and what they do already coded into the game, which is.
But now they need a Venus planet.
Yeah, shouldn't be that much harder. I don't know.
Maybe not. Who knows?
But
it's out there. What else did I do last week? We did game night at the Iron Ton Distillery. Yes, makes good cocktails.
Yeah, they make good cocktails. They're a little on the pricey end. And they have
for cocktails. It actually wasn't so bad.
No,
it was like $8-10. I'm used to like nice cocktails like that being like $14-16.
Fair enough.
14, yeah, because the Hidden Idol cocktail bar. Those are up there. But I do have to say they're more like the tropical tiki bar type place.
Yeah. My only other experience really with buying like cocktails is at that speakeasy place, William and Graham's, and those are ludicrously expensive. But
that's a speakeasy.
You're paying for like a whole experience,
ambiance.
Yeah.
You get led through the bookshelf.
Yeah, you have to wait, and then when they're ready, they're like, "All right," and they open the bookshelf, and you go down. Like, well, I say you go down because I could have sworn the first time I went there, I went downstairs. There's definitely no stairs. You just like go in and go around a corner, but then you're in a really dark, like seems like a basement, and you're being served by the hipsterest of hipsters.
Man,
does the beard have a beard?
The beards have beards.
The mustache has a mustache.
Yep. Yeah. But man, they do make some good cocktails, and they know their booze. Like the last time my mom and I were in there, they knew a bunch of different drinks outside of what was on the menu, and then like they were actually able to intelligently answer questions about what was on the menu. Like I'd be like, "Hey, I'm a beer drinker. What should I get? I like these kind of beers, but not these kind of beers." And they're like, "Oh, you should definitely drink whatever the cocktail they gave me was," and it was delicious.
Was it just a beer?
It was not, because they do have beer, but I've been trying to branch out. My alcoholism needs to take a step up. Beer's just not cutting it anymore.
IPAs just aren't cutting it anymore. You got to get to the high octane whiskey barrel aged imperial stouts.
Yep. Yeah, I got to start drinking Baptista by the bottle.
Yeah.
Just chug that. I'm sure that'll taske great.
I can't afford to drink Baptista by the bottle.
No.
Just got to get the low fills.
Then it's a low fill bottle. So you need more. You're going to need another bottle.
That's true. That's very true.
So
like if you give a mouse a muffin kind of a situation here.
Yep, that's it.
But with alcohol.
Yep. But with alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty good. Ironton, pretty good game night spot. They got a lot of space, and they're super dead. I don't think a lot of people have realized they exist.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, they don't. It would be hard to just run into that place.
Yeah, it's kind of in a weird location.
Yeah, kind of tucked away between.
It's really close to downtown and everything that's like popular, but they're like around a weird corner down a creepy street.
Well, and what it is it's past the Blue Moon place, and most people are just like, "Oh, Blue Moon," and we'll just stop here.
Yeah, and the that street they're on, the only other thing over there is like Mockery.
Oh, yeah. Which is nearby, yeah.
But on that same street is like a greenhouse or something.
Yeah.
Garden place. And that's like it.
Yeah. I do wish they would actually, for once, book a food truck when they say they're going to. I've been having that issue with some of the non-brewery places. Especially on Wednesdays. Like if it's somewhere that's not normally busy. And I'm like, hey, we're going to bring a lot of people in. And I know you're not normally busy, but you should get a food truck. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. And then they don't. Fuckers. Anyhow, anything else?
It was a pretty low-key week, I think. I played Subnautica yesterday.
Such a good game.
Some more. I had played it before. I was testing out like if my computer would freeze.
Okay.
And then I got into a Subnautica hole. And that'll happen.
I can't wait for the new expansion.
Oh yeah, it's like frozen or ice.
Glacial. It's in the Arctic and it's a standalone.
Deep freeze, I think is the name.
Yeah.
That's a good ocean frozen expansion name.
Yeah. I'm real excited for it. It looks cool. All the concept art and stuff I've seen really gets me amped up.
Yeah. It was a good game. Subnautica. I bought it way back in early access. And I played through Halo Wars on the PC. It had like a free weekend, and I was just like, I can just download and play that. I never played the campaign. I love Halo, and I just played through the whole campaign without paying.
That's like the top-down RTS Halo, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I used to play that on Xbox.
It was only on Xbox for a long time. It recently came out for PC in the last year, like a definitive edition or a remastered edition, or I don't know. I played through the campaign. It was all right. The cutscenes are cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, right on. Well, let's get over to some board gaming then. I haven't played much. Like I said, I did some D&D on Sunday. You'll get to hear about that in like 4 weeks when that episode releases.
You can always check out your Twitter at
MHDD_pod.
Yeah. You can see cool maps and dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. The two most recent ones that I tweeted was the map of the town we were playing in, and then the aftermath. Two of the other players, technically 3 of the other players, have dogs. And so they bring them over when we record, and they get to go out back and play with my dog, which is glorious because we record for about 4 hours, and then my dog is dead for the next 12 hours, and it's fucking amazing.
And is reborn after 12 hours.
Yeah. Then she, like a phoenix, rises from the ashes full of energy and just
and has
craziness.
learned nothing.
Correct. But yeah, we also I'm sure you heard, if you follow the podcast, you saw on the podcast feed we released episode 1 back on Thursday. So maybe you had a chance to listen to it. They only get better. Episode 3 is on these fancy new mics that we have here in studio. So the microphone quality jumped up dramatically in Mile High Dungeon Delvers.
Or will sound as good or bad as you think this episode sounds.
It'll sound different. The mics are a little bit further away, so it will sound a little tinnier.
Yeah.
Just because we're doing other, we got to have room to do D&D stuff. We got to have the mic right in our face.
Yes.
So
real close.
But I still got some more improvements to the studio I'm going to do. So that'll continue to help both this show and that show.
I recommend more John Elway.
I mean, you could never have too much John Elway.
That's not a great picture of John Elway, by the way.
Well, I don't know if you can call that a picture. It's like a weird print.
It's one of those triangle flags.
The pennants.
Pennants, that's the word.
Yes. And you're right. That is not a great look for John Elway on that pennant.
Board games.
Yeah, board games.
Yeah.
But so I did D&D. Was where I was starting. I was starting with what the board/tabletop games that I played.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I played besides the review game, I played some more of The Mind on the new Pandasaurus edition.
The game?
The game. I played because we were having a debate about whether we wanted to play The Mind with the game or the game with the game.
What is a better version to not play with the actual game?
Yeah.
Do you want to play The Mind with the game or the game with the mind?
Which was funny that that kind of came up at game night after we'd had that question on the Q&A.
Yep.
So we ended up playing the game with the game.
Yeah.
And it was the new Pandasaurus version of the game.
Which is much better looking than the old version.
The art and graphic design on it is much improved.
Yes, it is.
Was much more, eye-pleasing, I guess. We did not great.
Well, so you played with 5 players.
Yes.
3 of which had never played before?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I think it was just Adrian and I that had ever played before.
Yeah. And we did pretty good. I mean, we got down to less than 10 cards, which I think is the
played correctly before.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because we did kind of like a demo, sort of here's quick how to play. This is what.
Oh, gotcha.
But never played with the real actual rules.
Yeah. But it could have went better. There was definitely a couple times when people made just ridiculous jumps, and I'm not entirely sure they had to. And especially in one case, they definitely didn't because they played 4 cards, and one of their last it was they made a big jump. So you can make a tiny jump with their 4th card. It was don't.
You're making it worse.
Don't do that.
Well,
why are you doing that?
You know how it could have been better is if you were playing on my game of the game.
You were playing 4 players.
We were playing 4 players, and we won.
How many people had played before?
2,
okay.
or 1 or 2.
All right.
It was Matt and Wes and Lance. I might have been the only person who have played it before.
Okay.
So,
one less player,
and then one sort of strategy thing we had to sort of tell Matt to do, but then otherwise,
was it if you played these in the opposite order, you'd actually go backwards?
No, it was you didn't have to play both cards because you only have to play 1 card when you can't draw anymore.
Oh, okay.
And he had played 2 cards, one of which was the 99 to sort of lock down the thing. And we're like, no, you don't have to do that right now. And then he's like, okay. And then it went back and somebody played in between that, and that allowed us to win.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I think we had less than 10 cards left.
Yeah.
Which gave us
we got under
an
10.
excellent score
Mm-hmm.
of the
7 or 8.
Yeah.
All I know is that after we were done, you guys are still.
It took longer.
It took longer, and so we were just commenting
on our game. Yeah.
It was mainly
obnoxious.
Mainly I was the one being obnoxious.
Yes. Correct.
It was only you, I think.
I think Matt. I probably.
It was probably Matt as well. Yeah.
Matt's always down for that.
Yep.
So.
The one we could have stepped in with a bit of strategy at one point. One of the players played on the descending side. They played it was 37 or something, and they played 39 and then 29. It was you could have done that in the other order, and we'd have been at 39 instead of 29, and that would have been much better.
Yeah.
But we just kind of lived with it.
Yeah.
We didn't switch it around.
Right.
So
the game.
It's
all right.
Yeah. I do like the art and graphic design for the new version.
It makes the game a lot better.
Yes. No, it definitely helps in that.
Just a little bit of art.
Yeah.
Instead of dark
just black
skulls or whatever it was before.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a Slipknot album cover.
You're not too wrong.
No.
But like early Slipknot.
Yeah.
So we played something today.
Well, but before that, Bullshit Ball broke out Elk Fest.
Yes.
Fuck that. Yeah, that's right.
On the most ridiculously long, insane table you could imagine.
It was like a bar table in the middle of this place, like a little stand around. Like they didn't have any chairs. There's like just a place when it's packed, which it never is. Just stand and put your drinks. So it's like a foot and a half wide and like 10 feet long. And they're like, yeah, this will be good for Elk Fest. Spoiler alert, an hour and 30 minutes later, it was not good for Elk Fest.
Was it an hour and a half?
I'm pretty sure they played for over an hour.
I don't know. I know we left and they were
done.
They were still playing.
They just met in the middle.
When we were wrapping
and then apparently
up.
like they were on the same stones or some bullshit like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Not a good idea for that game. Game's cool. Except for like it's moose. It's not elk. I don't know where the elk come into this.
I tried looking to see if it was like a lost in translation thing from German, and I couldn't find anything that definitively said.
It's even like a moose on the cover.
Everything about it's a moose.
Yeah. Moose Fest.
Yeah, so I don't know. It could very easily be a lost in translation. Maybe Germany, I don't know, their words for moose and elk are very similar and somebody mistranslated. I don't know. Somebody who knows German better can maybe fill us in on that.
Like all those people going to Essen right now.
Yeah, not me.
Nope, nor any of us. But on Sunday, we had an all-day affair of a game that is not Twilight Imperium. That's this Saturday.
Yes, it is.
And we played Kingdom Death Monster.
For 8 hours.
Yes.
We weren't planning to go that long. We just kept
playing.
I
don't think we ever actually said how long we wanted to play.
No.
We were just like, hey, we just want. Bullshit Paul was like, hey, Kingdom Death. And we were like, sure. Sunday? All right.
Yep.
So the previous campaign I was not in on. You guys had gotten together at some point and played, I think, and it wasn't going well, or
it was something like that. Basically, we just decided to start anew.
We just started a new one.
Yep.
We simulated the first tutorial battle.
Mm-hmm.
Had you guys done that before?
Yeah, we had done that the previous one.
Okay.
So.
And then we maxed out our settlement population to start with.
Yep.
It can swing between like 6 and 12 or
6 and 10.
6 and 10.
Yeah.
Which is a huge difference.
Well, 6 and so 10 or 14, I think. It's like, so it's not including the 4 characters we already were.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, there's a swing. We got the best that we could.
Yeah, we critted on the population that we start with, which is pretty critical for Kingdom Death Monster with your constant churn, I guess is a good word for it, of hunters.
Yeah, we had some good starter characters. My character's name was Riley, and
spelled
it was
terribly.
RHYLEIGH.
The fuck?
Oh no! I was like this thing. All my characters are gonna have very, very stupidly spelled names.
Yes, and they did.
Yes, they did.
Too bad they didn't last long.
No, that one did not. Because we fought the lion first. It took a while for us to fight it or to kill it, which we did.
It took forever.
It took forever the first time.
We weren't really getting hurt that much.
Yeah.
Just kind of like a slow whittle, but we were hitting a lot and just no wounds, over and over and over and over.
But then Riley ended up getting a plus luck, which is for when you're trying to do damage. Because it's
when you're trying to wound.
When you're trying to wound, you compare your strength, and if you get a 10 on normal weapons, you do a critical wound. If you have a
natural 10,
if you have a +1 to luck, a 9 or a 10 gets you that critical wounds,
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because crits in this game are really, really good.
Yeah, that's how like lions lose its testicles, its jaw breaks off and stuff like that.
And it can cancel out whole cards that it has because it's like, oh, you don't have a jaw anymore. I guess you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it doesn't have a paw, it just like looks forlornly at it, and other people get understanding from it.
Yes,
just weird shit like that.
But so Riley got a +1 on the luck, and then we ended up making the cat claw Qatar or whatever.
The Qatar. You had one. You didn't have both yet.
I had one, but it gives you a +1 luck when you're using it. So now she crit on 8 plus, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And so what we decided to do is we end up ambushing the lion
through hunting events.
On the second time we fought it. So I got right up on its ass and I stabbed it, and I did a lot of damage, which was great.
Yes.
And then we had also gotten the surge ability during our first settlement, or second settlement, I guess, which allows you to spend a survival to attack again. And so my character got cocky and attempted to hit the character, or hit the
line
again in the paw, and it turned around.
It was a clever ploy.
Got
the trap card.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a clever ploy. It was another card, but it if I failed, it did +2 damage.
That's right.
And so
that's right. Like 3 damage.
So what it did is it turned around, hit me twice, and it hit my head with a severe injury. So you have to roll a die. D10. And I rolled a 1. And so basically the lion turned around, swiped at my character's head, and my character's head exploded.
And immediately dead.
On
the first action of the third hunt?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, so I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it went well enough, except that about halfway through,
literally the exact same card happens. Yep. All to his head.
Yep, and Paul got his character's head exploded.
Because he also rolled a 1.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep, was not great, so we had 2 characters die.
However, myself, doing all right.
Yes.
What was my character's name?
That one was
That was Helen Hank Murphy,
yes.
I believe.
Yes.
As everyone would know from the C Lab 2021 fame.
Exactly. So we ended up making new characters after that.
We had a good supply.
We had a good supply, so...
and we did graves, which gives us a ton of endeavors.
Yep, and then I made a baby. Like, we made babies, and so we
made a lot of babies.
I became one of the babies, and this was...
So many babies.
This was Gwennifer. Gwennyfir.
You?
And I believe I don't remember what Paul's character was that died, but...
I don't either.
Yeah. Then we just had a lot of fights. We had one fight where
we started with like a little bit of a glass cannon strategy, a lot of weapons, no real armor or anything. So we were just hoping that we kill it fast enough. We got really good item crafting things from the lions. We'd get like the cat bones and stuff that make good spears.
Oh, we got the catgut bow with the arrow.
That's what Paul was using a lot.
Which gives -1 evasion, so it's a lot easier for us to hit.
But he needs to roll a 6+, which I finally learned, but he kept rolling it every time, so I didn't realize that doesn't automatically happen.
No, yeah, he was killing it.
Which is great, because a +1 to hit, well, they get minus evasion, which basically gives us +1 to hit, which is crucial, because hitting in this is like, you need 7+, 8+ on a lot of stuff. So turning that into like a 6 or a 7, or if you're behind, like a 5 or a 6, you're getting 50/50s instead of a quarter, 25%, which is brutal.
Yeah.
Which is this game.
Yes, it is. Then we ended up fighting the butcher, who comes like halfway through.
But this is all our friend Daniel's copy. He has like had them all professionally painted, sleeved everything, and with his campaigns, he's not gotten through the butcher more than once, and I think the other time was just with us.
Yeah,
when we got through, and we're like, oh, the butcher, whatever. We slaughtered him.
Yeah,
that was like a pun.
Yeah, exactly. We ended up killing him, which is great. And you got the butcher's blade or whatever it's called.
We got something. First time we killed him, we got like just a garbage.
Yes,
and then this time we got his cleaver and
Well, and it didn't hurt. Like the last time we beat him, he had this like almost infinite kick combo that he just started kicking people to death, which luckily the cards did not go out in the right way for that to happen.
Yeah, he can get into an infinite death spiral of just like, all right, he moves and kicks you to death. He moves, he kicks you to death. He moves, he kicks you to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. That thankfully that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. So you got the cleaver.
Yes. I think I had gotten a head injury he started screaming.
Oh yeah. He would scream, and he just screamed until one of us died, basically.
Yep, he just screamed.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it gives you a brain hit every time, which is your like insanity level. And basically we're not a real high insanity group. We kind of went with like, we're gonna treat our babies nice and use graves instead of cannibalism. And
which I was against.
It's true.
Christ.
Yeah, that's the kind of game. But so I was taking constant like disorders because like if you don't have any insanity to shield you from what's happening, it's like brain armor is what insanity is.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, that's
Well, no, it's just like everything's fine. Like if you're insane, you're just like you see all the shit that's going on in the world, and you're like,
yeah,
okay,
it's great.
that's fine.
Seems legit.
Yeah.
It's armor for your brain, but the more crazy shit happens,
It wears you down.
yes. And so I got a Rageaholic, which gives me frenzy, and then I got a berserker fighting skill, which basically is exactly frenzy. Fun fact: frenzy can stack. Frenzy
gives you a +1 strength and a +1 speed.
So +1 attack and +1 to wound.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that +1 attack is an extra die for attacking.
Yes, +1. Yeah, you get. So and then I got Rageaholic, which we did read wrong. I thought it was heavy injury. It's serious injury. I have to roll on that table.
The severe injury, yeah.
Yeah, which is bad.
Yeah.
But then I get another frenzy.
Yeah.
So I have a way to kick myself into frenzy, and then I have like if I get hurt enough, I can hit another frenzy. And then I was
so being super frenzy with the butcher's weapon is bonkers.
Yeah, because you get 2 attacks and
it hits on a 5+.
It hits on a 5.
Jesus.
And that's if you don't have any accuracy or minus evasion.
Yeah. And then it's got +5 to your wound as well.
Which on like some of the level 1 enemies, their toughness is 8.
So I need
that's
3.
That's the 3, and then if you have any strength, it just adds to that. Where you just need a 2+ or
Yeah. So at one point we were fighting a level 2 lion, and I think I was throwing 6 dice.
Yeah.
At it, which can be tricky.
But I'll tell you, this game going from a level 1 creature to a level 2 creature
makes you feel
bonkers.
You feel powerful against the level 1, and you're like, let's try a level 2. Remember how shitty you felt fighting a level 1 with nothing? That's how you feel now.
Yeah. Well, it's because so the regular 1 lion, it has like 11 health. And then when you go to level 2, it has 16 health.
And its health bar is how many abilities it has.
Yeah.
Every time you wound it, it discards an ability.
And then it gets +1 damage, which is how many wounds you take, and then +1 speed, so it rolls another die. And then they usually they can move farther. They're usually tougher. So instead of 8 to break armor, I guess you could call it, it's a 10. And then they always have an ability. So this guy's ability was Cunning, which is at the end of every one of his actions. If there's an enemy nearby him, he will grab them, which causes you to take 2 damage, which already sucks. And then he just runs away from everybody.
7 moves. We can
move 5.
We can move 5. Yeah.
So the first half of it was having Daniel's his just broken body.
Just being grabbed and running away as we try and chase it into a corner of the board, so we can finally like corner it and like start actually hitting it. Because I was gonna be rolling like 3+ dice, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, and I was just gonna slaughter this guy, but I couldn't fucking get to him.
Yeah, because he just kept running away.
Yep. Smart lion.
Mm-hmm.
Curious lion.
Yep. But we finally ended up beating him up.
Yep.
And killing him.
Daniel's character did die.
Yeah.
But I had gotten all of these crazy settlement events. Like we found heat, and I was like experimenting with heat, and then I crit rolled on there, and then I got this crazy red hand ability that gives me + strength and everyone else + strength that I'm out on the hunt with.
Yeah.
And they can spend that token as one of those survivals for like an extra move or
dodge
an extra
or
attack or whatever. And then there was like a bone witch, and then I rolled really good on that one too, and now I'm a bone whisperer. Doesn't sound what you think it is.
It's not like so he was a skull eater before, which caused him to.
I was a murderer.
He would kill people and then eat their skulls.
Now I just eat skulls of dead people that die on the hunt.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to roll or anything. He walks by, and then he just heals.
I just healed a full.
Yep.
And then I get a die roll, and I can get like extra stats and stuff.
Yeah.
Unless I roll really high, which is impossible right now. I have to roll like a 19 or higher. And I only roll a D10 plus my hunt experience. So I need at least like 5 more hunt experience before I can start just going insane and running off into the distance. And goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get some stats before it all ends horribly. Downside is that same lion also, the lion we should have made the lion go for you. Because your character, is your character good? I don't remember. What do you have?
Like it's fine. I have some
stat ups.
I don't have any stat ups, but
we should have killed we should have had you go
no, but it's that Dan. He had a bunch of negative stuff. I didn't have any negatives really. He already had negatives, even though he had positives.
I thought he was already dead. at this point. I don't remember. But basically, the lion grabbed me by the head. I took a serious injury. I lost an eye.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And now I have -1 accuracy for all my ton of attacks. So
I don't think I was. I think it was like due to whatever his phrasing you were. It was like facing or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have rather not lost an eye.
It's understandable.
Yeah, losing an eye, not ideal.
No. But I still roll a bunch of dice, I guess.
But we're in a much better position than we have been in any campaign so far.
We're at the Phoenix level now. We can hunt a Phoenix. We're not going to hunt a Phoenix.
No, because we will be blinked out of existence if we do that.
Yes. We'll hunt some more lions and get some lion gear and see what goes from there.
Yeah.
I feel like the game just has you right where it wants you.
Pretty
you
much.
feel like you're doing better than you've ever done, and you're going to be dead in like 2 lantern years.
We had like a tournament. We threw a bunch of like the no-name people that we've never used before to try and get them some random stat ups and stuff.
And then also we've been getting a shitload of endeavors somehow.
Yeah.
Like through somebody's special ability or something. And
Tinkering.
and then we found out that we can give hunt XP to like low-level characters with our higher-level ones with those endeavors. So that has helped too.
Yeah.
So
kind of raise everyone up because someone's going to die and we're going to have to replace them. And we don't want to replace them with someone that's like nothing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a lot of the gear is really what makes someone really good.
Yeah.
So that can always usually carry over.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Definitely looking forward to our next playthrough of this.
Yeah. Kingdom Death.
Yep.
Still great.
Mm-hmm.
Get some tabletop miniature gaming in for once.
Yeah. I played one other thing besides that, and that was literally today.
Oh, that's right.
Because, Adrian talking about how we were talking about Mansions of Madness, and then he tried to play with Megan, and then you couldn't.
Correct.
I was like, man,
because you don't own the game.
Because you don't really own the game.
I don't own the right version of the game.
Yeah. And so I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, I would like to play Mansions of Madness, and I do own the game. And so I introduced my roommate Whitney to it. We ended up playing the intro experience because it's the shortest one, the easiest to get into, and it's the one that has the most variety from what I've seen so far.
Okay.
And it went great. I played it I used my iPad mini. So originally I was like, I can either put it from my computer, my laptop, or I can like mirror it on the TV with my phone. And I was like, but first I'm going to try my iPad mini. That thing is old. It's like iPad 2, really.
It's a mini iPad 2.
Yes.
Is what it is.
But I downloaded the app and it ran completely fine.
Okay.
It didn't stutter at all. The music was fine. And I was very surprised. So good on them for it not having high requirements. I'm pretty sure Ganshan Clever couldn't run on this thing.
That's saying something.
Yeah. But we ended up Whitney got an insane condition near the end, but I was able to disrupt the ritual before they were able to summon the big ass fucking monster, the star spawn or whatever it was that they were going to summon.
Yeah.
But then they summoned a bunch of these like star vampires, things which were giant tentacled creatures. But I was able to get the ritual components, so we just had to leave the mansion thing that we were exploring.
Okay.
And I had a picture on Twitter of this that basically there were like 5 monsters right near all of us, but we just had to evade away from them, and then I would be able to escape. And then I was like, Whitney, you should do it first to see if you can escape with me. And she's like, no, go ahead, it's fine. Like you go, I'm gonna make stay here. Came up with whatever bullshit excuse, but I was able to evade away, and then I was able to leave. And her insane ability was that she wanted to die for the greater good.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, thematically, I'm fine with that because we were surrounded by fucking monsters. It was crazy.
It was gonna be real bad.
Yeah, it was gonna be real bad, but she loved the hell out of it, which I'm not surprised, and it was enjoyable as it's always been. And I'm definitely gonna be playing more of it with her.
Nice.
So yeah.
I am currently looking at the picture on your Twitter, and that's a lot of.
Yeah.
All those monsters can't fit into that room. Is basically what's happening.
No, and what's funny is that we were nailing a lot of the evade rolls, or when they would attack us is fine until right near the door where I suffered a broken arm, a broken leg. I got disfigured, and then
Jesus,
yeah, and I was and then I got wounded, which meant that I couldn't move more than once a turn.
Ouch.
And my broken leg meant I couldn't move more than one space a turn. And so I was able, and luckily I was one space away, and I was like, oh, thank God I can hobble. I'm hobbling to the door with all these monsters right nearby, and I just go through, close the door, and it's like, okay, good. I just sort of, it's fine. enemies are dead, or I don't have to worry about them anymore because the door's closed. And we know anything about monsters, they can't get through closed doors.
It's true.
So you can't.
No, I know.
It's impossible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why.
Just like they can't exist under the bed if your dad shines
Exactly.
a flashlight under.
Yeah,
there.
that's why I don't understand why any slasher movie doesn't. They just lock the door and then it's fine. That's it. They always have an open door or some weird shit like that.
Not slasher, but general horror that I was watching last night because it's Halloween time and I watch scary movies around this time of year. Locked doors did not stop Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
That's true.
Even if he was locked inside, he had ghosts to unlock them, and then he had a fucking fire axe when he was locked outside of them.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, you're right. Most other horror movies just close and lock the door. Well, we have derailed the train. Now time to get back on the tracks. That's what we've been playing. Jeff, no bloody minute.
Nope.
Okay. So we can move on to news.
Do you want me to talk for another 59 seconds?
I do not.
Because that's what you usually do. Usually when there's like no bloody minute and then talk Blood Bowl stuff for about a minute.
No bloody
two.
minute, but I'm about to play this match against so-and-so, and they've got so-and-so, and Paul played a match, and
Who you
Ant
played
played
on
a
Wednesday?
match.
Same guy. I haven't played him yet.
Phil
With
with
Nurgle.
That's
And
right.
Daniel, our Kingdom Death monster owner, is going for a tournament this weekend somewhere.
Ah.
I think he was chit-chatting about that.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't play Kingdom Death Monster again this weekend.
Correct.
Gotcha. Right on. Well, let's get over to some news and Kickstarter then.
News is first. First up in news this week, Fantasy Flight has released a designer journal going over all of the wonderful details they have to go through to design and create a new unique game, which is in heavy air quotes, which is things like Keyforge and Discover Lands Unknown.
Yeah, so we've talked about those two games fairly recently. They're the new part of the unique games line from Fantasy Flight. And this is basically a designer journal just written by Christian Peterson, who's been kind of really involved with a lot of this, talking about how this went from like kind of a one-off jokey idea where he was talking to Eric Lang and they were talking about how it would be interesting to have booster pack of cards or physical components for a game that would be unique, like that you'd open it to be random, but they'd fit in the original game. And they were kind of playing around with that idea. And for a while, like they couldn't figure out how to make that work. And then one of them had the idea of like, well, why not make just the entire game that way? And that's kind of where it started going from that. They got a little diagram showing like normal game production where you take components A, B, C, D, and E are all produced, and then they get put together somewhere, and then they go to the shelf.
Like your insert and the cards and everything else that is exactly the same that will all go into this box.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how like they need to create like 5 to 6 times the amount of content of a normal game, and that each one of, and consequently, because you're printing the same amount of copies, each one of those items would be printed 5 to 6 times less than normal because of, you know, you're trying to have that different assortment. So that's really affects production price.
Yeah. So like their unique production chart they have is like item A 1 through 6, item B 1 through 6, C 1 through 6, D, E, and then like you randomly choose from those lists. Those get put together into one game, and then that's the game you get. And like how that's kind of changing their whole manufacturing and design perspective on these games. It's kind of a long read. There's a whole lot of information in it, but it's pretty cool. We'll have a link there on the show notes that you can check out and read through it yourself if you haven't already. But I dig it.
Yep.
Let's hope they don't suck. It's new. It's different.
Right? And they're using algorithms.
Oh, God.
I know.
What a bunch of nerds.
Technology getting into board gaming again.
Mhm.
When will it stop?
I mean, we did just talk about Mansions of Madness.
I know, right?
Next up in news is Carcassonne Safari coming from Z-Man. This seems to be a fairly new, different take on Carcassonne.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell like at a quick glance here. It looks like it's going to use a lot of the same mechanics. Like there's
Like most of their spin-offs do.
yeah. So there's still like game trails that are like roads and different things will tie into that. Like you can make a watering hole if you get the right 4 pieces together and you make a little watering hole. They don't have a lot of explanation of the exact mechanics involved, but you are going to be like building out the savannah with all these different animals. And like, so if you score a road in this one, you want to score a trail that has as many different animals as possible to score the most points. There's also ways to like start a watering hole where you can make like a little circle around the corners of 4 different pieces, and then it scores points as each new watering hole tile is added, and then whoever completes it scores a bunch of points. You can use this little like safari jeep to blaze new trails. I don't really know how that mechanic works, but yeah, a whole bunch of different stuff you can do to check out wild animals in the savannah.
Yeah, I just recently played the Carcassonne High Tide, which was another neat variant on Carcassonne that was standalone, that you don't need 12 expansions to get something new out of it.
You just got to buy every one of the like 8 big boxes.
Oh, Jesus, no. Just think of all those fucking tiles.
We have one of the big boxes, and I don't think we've ever once played it.
That sounds about right.
That sounds like Carcassonne.
It was another one of her dad, like, you like board games? This is a board game. Here you go. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, that's Carcassonne Safari.
Yeah.
It'll be coming out.
People love Carcassonne. That's why they keep making them.
Coming out later this year for $39.99. You can pre-order it now.
Good times.
Indeed.
Next up in news is Video Vortex, a new Mondo board game coming out.
Good old Mondo.
Yeah, so I think they've clearly dropped Project Raygun.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah. That made it
Now
sort of overly complicated.
Right.
And maybe that first game that used Project Raygun wasn't all that good. Maybe they want to drop that on there.
Kind of just want to let it go.
Companies never do that.
No.
They always take pride in everything that they do.
Absolutely. So it is there's not much news. It's a VHS themed board game coming in 2019, and it's a deck builder.
Well, so what the theme around it is if you've ever been to an Alamo Draft House.
I have.
Have you? What about you, Adrian? Have you been?
Once or twice.
Okay.
It's the only movie theater I go to anymore.
That is 100% correct for all of us. They do like monthly or shit like that. They do what's called Video Vortex.
That's where the name sounded familiar.
It's super cheap, but they air old VHS movies.
Old like
they project the VHS movies, and they're very bad. But like intentionally, well, not intent. Like I'm sure the people who made it didn't intentionally make a bad movie, but
they tried their best.
Yeah, they tried their best, but it's themed around that, so it seems to be themed around very like bad genre VHS game or movies, and so that's what I would guess. Like all the images and stuff would be.
I've never heard of this from Alamo.
All right, well we should definitely do that.
I guess
I will. While you're
but it's Video Vortex Analog Apocalypse. Big fan of all of the alliteration.
We here at Mile High Game Guys are fans of alliteration.
Yes. In the game, you're controlling a gang of post-apocalyptic magnetic mutants which combat other players' gangs. 2 to 4 players. The winner is the Tape Master General. And gets to control the remote forever.
Yeah. No current word on MSRP. Not a lot of details on actual gameplay mechanics, but there is a sweet box cover that is included. That is all kinds of neon.
Yeah, it looks cool. We'll see.
Indeed.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
And that's it for news.
That is it for news. 3 news items. It's a short news week.
It is a short news week. Because it is a colossal Kickstarter week. Holy dicks. Is there a lot of huge Kickstarters this week? First up in Kickstarter is Valhalla. Very well funded. 95,000 of its $19,000 goal. 1,346 backers and about 3 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can at the most popular pledge level for $85.
Yeah, so this is a 1 to 6 player card and dice game that takes 30 to 60 minutes, they say. In it, you are basically taking on the role, as in so many of these Viking games, of Jarl. And as Jarl, you are assembling a group of warriors that you are then going to use to fight your opponents. And so the cards are your warriors. So depending on what cards you get laid out or what warriors you have available. And then the dice are going to be the weapons that you assign to those warriors that they use when they fight. And as you fight with your opponents, you'll roll your dice and see who has what attacks and damage and everything. And then whoever wins All of the warriors that participated from the winner are discarded and go into their Valhalla discard pile. All of the ones that didn't fight stay on the board, and you get a shield token from your opponent if you defeated them. At the end of the game, you're going to score points based on shield tokens you claimed from other players, and then you're going to score points from all of the warriors that are in your Valhalla discard pile. So you want to send your warriors to Valhalla by fighting and winning, because, Valhalla don't take no losers.
That's correct. There's a ton of various expansions and things that come with the standard box, which seems cool. There's like Valkyries and Dwarves and Thor and Loki, etc. Since it was funded within 24 hours, everyone gets like a 20-card solo deck.
Yeah, if you want to play it by yourself.
Yeah, usually what solo means.
Not always, though.
That's true.
It can sometimes be a last name as well.
Picked out of thin air.
Yeah. Fuck, he was a loner. Oh my God, it all makes sense now.
The deluxe box comes with even more card expansions. Seems like that's a lot of what these additional expansions are adding. The epic box comes with a playmat and miniature and additional dice for that extra $84 pledge versus a $59 deluxe pledge. Playmats, real important in Kickstarters nowadays.
Yes, they are.
Whether it needs it or not
is
up for you to decide.
Is it, though?
I mean, it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to buy it.
That's true.
True.
But no, you have to pay this extra money to buy it.
Vote with your wallet, people. And that's Valhalla.
Next up
is Tidal Blades. The extremely well-funded $352,000 of its $75,000 goal, 4,300 backers, and about 2 weeks left to go, with its most popular pledge level being $89 for the deluxe Kickstarter edition.
Yeah, so this is a worker placement dice management game. Plays 1 to 4 players, takes 60 to 90 minutes. You are taking on the role of an aspiring young hero, where you're signing up for a tournament that will determine if you get to join the Tidal Blades, an elite guard of the island realm. And essentially, you're going to be using worker placement to place yourself onto 5 different island boards, where you will gain resources, compete in challenges, fight monsters, things like that. There are 3 tournament spots where you'll do little tournament things, and ultimately at the end of the game, hopefully be the bestest.
Yeah. So how the worker placement works is you have because it's over 5 rounds. And then halfway through you're gonna get another worker, and then near the end you're gonna get a final worker as well. And you're gonna be placing workers on, like you said, 5 boards, and 3 of them can be tied to certain challenges. And so if you can do whatever the action is on the board, and then you can attempt to do a challenge if you want. And if you have the right matching challenge, and then if you succeed at it, you're going to gain whatever. So if you're trying to get synergy symbols, and if you get those, then you're going to go up on synergy, which gets you more character cards, more character powers, I guess. Other ones let you get more dice that you're rolling. Others let you change the amount of dice you're upgrading at the end of the round, and then also just general spirit, which certain cards tie to. But I think the most interesting thing that I saw from this is how the dice upgrade. So they have the base dice, which are white, and they just have a blank side, and then the symbols that you're looking for, and then also a question mark. But then as you go up, it splits into 2 schools, like red dice and blue dice, and the red ones have 2 symbols on them. And you have a much greater chance. You have a much greater chance of getting the symbol that you want, because they'll have either or of the symbols or question marks. And then as you go one more on that, then it's so the level 2 dice, you have a 50% chance of getting the symbol you want. And then the level 3 dice, you have 5 out of 6 chance of getting the symbol you want, because there's no more blanks on that one. And then the level 4, it actually splits into 2 more, and then it just goes based on whatever symbol it is, and then that's how you can get double focus or double spirit symbols and stuff like that.
The novice, initiate, elite, and guild.
That's what
dice.
it is. Yes. So I think it is a fairly cool upgrade system for the dice.
They look neat.
Yeah. Which will help a lot with mitigation from a dice game.
Yes, exactly.
Because like it's a dice worker placement game, which is
it's the worker placement, and then you're rolling dice on the challenges.
That's right.
Yeah, and like halfway through, monsters are going to start appearing. Because normally what happens is during the challenges, and it's like training that you're doing in the challenges. What's nice is that when you're attempting a challenge, you can always spend fruit to add additional dice, because say your focus is 2. That means normally you can only use 2 dice, but if you use fruit, you can get 3 or 4 dice, which is cool. But whatever dice you use go into your used dice pile that you can't grab unless you either go to the worker placement spot to put them back into your available dice pool, or at the end of the round, whatever your resilience is, you can put those dice from your used pile back into your available pile, but you also upgrade them. So that's how, like, you want to leave dice in your used pile so you can upgrade them later. But any dice that you're using to fight the monster to actually do combat, you lose those dice. So you're trying to use those dice, and you'll get a lot of points from fighting monsters, but you'll lose them and you'll have to go back and gain more and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's goals you have at the end of the game, you'll get extra points. And then all of your character powers are specific to your character, obviously. And then the same for those goals. Those are all specific to your character as well. So they'll tend to tie in with your powers.
Yeah. Which with the unique kind of character thing too, they have an awesome little player board that has dials that upgrade as you move up in different areas as well.
And then that'll get you end game points upgrading those.
Yeah. It's got a lot of really cool components and what seem to be some pretty interesting mechanisms.
Especially with the deluxe edition.
Yeah, so it's $59 for the regular, and then the deluxe edition.
I mean, I'll just say with the regular edition, like, I feel like $59 for all of that. I feel like you're getting a good amount.
Yes.
It seems like a pretty solid amount of stuff for just $59.
Yeah.
They use a standees instead of minis.
We have 4 player boards that move around. You have 32 character cards, 5 standees, some energy discs, 3 different types of dice, danger dice, and then 54 custom other dice, tokens, and then a bunch of location boards for the $54 or $59. And then the deluxe one gives you a special box. You get minis instead of standees.
And the special box is a bunch of game
edition.
tray stuff as well.
Yes.
So it's the regular retail edition, and then for $30 you get a deluxe edition box separately.
Oh, right, yeah.
That has minis and upgraded resources and a dice tray arena.
Yeah, which I think it looks very cool.
Yeah,
and
also
an art
to be
book, if you care about art books.
Yeah,
of course you care about art.
And then the upgraded resources, it's like the hard plastic shells and squishy fruit, which is always
very very much like the fruit in Everdell. The berries.
Yeah,
I would assume so.
Yeah, I think it's
looks cool.
Yeah, if you're already interested in the game at $59, if you can spare the extra $30, I think that's a good deluxe one to go up to.
Yeah, I wish they didn't have the art book in there as like spin off the art book. Does the art book come with deluxe edition, or is that another?
No, it's part of the deluxe edition.
It is part of the deluxe.
I'm sure some people would prefer not to have the art book and maybe save
I mean,
$10.
I would certainly be one of those.
But I mean, it does have a lot of good art in it.
Yes, it is a very pretty game.
Yeah. And one sort of interesting thing that the game is doing is it does have normal stretch goals, as 200,000, 250,000 and stuff like that. But it also has these, what did they call it? A narrative unlock system or something like that.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. It's in like their 3rd update. They talked about it, but essentially like every day they're just revealing more stuff that's in the game. It's always been planned. It's not, they're not stretch goals. They're just like, we hadn't told you about this monster or this character or this thing. So
it gets away. It's sort of nice as it sort of gets away from that pretense of like some cool mini and not stuff where they're like, here's all these different ones that you knew that we were going to hit, but we're just trying to spread it out to keep that momentum going. This one's like, it's introducing new stuff every day, but it's not tied to funding.
Yeah.
But still having some of those stretch goals that are tied to funding.
Yeah, they do still release stretch goals pretty regularly. And clearly, like, even the daily releases are meant to draw people back to the Kickstarter and be like, and it triggers that, like, ooh, now it's worth even more. Like, I looked at it when it was $89 and I, set that price in my head that $89 got me all of this. Well, now I've seen that over the last 10 days of the campaign, they've added this and this and this and this all for free. Now I'm getting a great deal.
Yeah, and then also all of the actual all the monetary stretch goals they don't have anything to do with, from what it looks like at least, actual gameplay things. It's just like upgrading card stock, player board thickness, linen finish on cards. Get a miniature of the boat and then instead of a standee or just a token, but all of the actual narrative ones that aren't tied to funding, they're the ones that are like, hey, here's these new cards, new character cards, new sets of challenges and stuff like that. Like I said, isn't tied to funding, which is interesting to say.
Indeed.
Do we need a score pad as a stretch goal unlock though?
I mean, not all games have them.
A lot of games should have them and don't.
Yes.
But I don't know how this game really scores. Maybe
it's
the fact they're considering a score pad tells me they should probably just have a score pad. But
if
it
you
looks
pledge,
like, I mean,
it's 400,000.
Which
you
is
too get a score pad.
I mean, it's 17 days left. It's 352,000.
They're probably gonna get a score.
They're gonna get it.
Yeah.
So, but hey, you don't have to pay any extra for it.
There you go.
So.
Yeah, it's just unlocked.
Yep.
Just have to buy the game.
Yeah. A lot of the different things they have released, like you can click on throughout the Kickstarter, that'll take you to BGG, Artist Diary, and Developer Diary stuff that you can find a whole lot more about the lore and backstory of the world. They're really going all out on this Kickstarter.
Very narrative driven.
Yes. Yeah. And this is Druid City Games, who did the Grim Forest.
Yes.
Before, which so they go all out on components, and they succeed with that with the Kickstarter. So I'm glad to see that they're continuing that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Tidal Blades.
Tidal Blades, yeah. Heroes of the Reef.
Part 1 or something in there.
Sure, probably.
Yeah. Next up in Kickstarter is Spirit Island, Jagged Earth. Shocker, funded $539,000 of its $49,000 goal, 5,200 backers, 3 weeks left to go. You can pledge this one for $59 or a whole fuckload more.
Up to $299.
Yep.
Looks like the current highest pledge
is 59 for the most pledged is just 59 for the expansion,
followed by 189 for basically everything but the base game. So
yes,
this Kickstarter is adding a ton of shit. So the base expansion, Jagged Earth expansion,
this is a big box expansion basically.
Yeah, it's going to add
not standalone.
No, not standalone.
Not standalone.
It adds 2 new island boards, which allows you to play up to 6 players, which previously you could only do if you had the special map from the first Kickstarter.
Which
just what I wanted.
Yeah,
more players.
More players for Spirit Islands. But I'm not going to play it anyway, so don't.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like if at some point you could play with experienced players at a high enough player, but like being like, oh, Megan and I know how to play. 4 new people, join us in a game of Spirit. No. Anyway, so it includes 2 new island boards, so you can take it up to 6 players.
But also just more variety, too.
And more variety. They're different boards now, so you can combine them in different ways to get different land layouts. 8 new spirit panels, each with their own unique power card starting deck.
How many were in the base game? Was it 8?
I believe it was 8.
Yeah, and then they added, 4 with that small expansion?
2 with the small expansion and 2 promos.
Oh, that's what it was.
So there have been 4 total added. So there have been 12 currently. They're adding 8 new.
So it'll be 20, yeah.
Yeah. All the tokens for the 5th and 6th players. They added 5 aspect cards for the basic spirits of the base game. So like once you've played it for a while, if you don't want to play the generic starter version, you can use the aspect cards to basically play a slightly different version of that base character to make them a little bit more complex, a little bit more powerful.
So it's not just a starter character anymore.
Exactly. More energy tokens. They also include Fear, Badlands, or not the Badlands. The Fear tokens, which just more of those, which are something that already exists in the base game. Badland tokens that I'll come back to talk about, but they include a collection of Wild token, Strife token, Beast token, and Disease tokens, which are the tokens from that first mini expansion, so that all of the things in this game that use mechanics from that expansion, you have all of the tokens and pieces necessary. So you don't have to buy that expansion to play the parts of this expansion that use those mechanics, which I think is a great way to handle that.
Warriors never did that.
No. A bunch more event cards, fear cards, blight cards. The blight cards I'm really happy about because I think there were only 2 in the base game.
There was not many.
And now they've added 6 new ones. 20 more major powers, 30 more minor powers, more explorers, towns, and cities, more Dahan, more blight pieces, 2 new adversaries, and 2 new scenarios. And that's just in the base expansion.
Which, I mean, it's also going to come with a spirit promo pack as well.
Yeah, which will have a couple new spirits. There's also more stretch goals. The Badlands is a new mechanic that this one introduces, which are a token that will go on the board and indicates land that's hostile to long-term human habitation. So it will do 1 damage to any humans that are there, whether that's explorers or Dahan. They represent a 1 damage that happens after all of the spirit stuff. So like before, where you had a spirit that would do like 1 damage and would wound a town, and then the town would just heal and be okay. Now, if that town is in a Badlands, you deal 1 damage, and then the Badlands finishes them the fuck off. The ton of new spirits, like I said, like the 8 new spirits that all sound actually really interesting. I've always loved the naming mechanism for their spirits in this one. So stuff like Vengeance as a Burning Plague, or Shroud of Silent Mist, Stone's Unyielding Defiance, things like that. New board layouts for different player counts. So even before, when you could play with 6 on the big map, it was like 2x3 essentially. Now they've got like a double round or like a weird
crab, they call it.
Yeah, the crab board. And I don't know if some of those changes would also help balance out having more players versus that like 2x3 long board that the map was. So that's the base set.
Yep, for $59.
For $59.
Seems like you get a lot of shit.
I mean, it's the price of the base game, but you do get what seems like most of what you would get in the base game too.
The only thing you're not getting is like island tiles.
Yeah, a couple extra island tiles. Yeah,
and then a lot of the power cards.
Yeah, that spirit promo pack that comes with all of the pledge levels is just 1 spirit, but this one starts with 6 cards instead of 4. And it will be getting a couple more stretch goals add to it and change it, but it's just kind of a special, unique spirit. You can also, through this Kickstarter, get
a bunch of add-ons.
You can get the first expansion, Branch and Claw. You can get the original promo pack of the first 2 promo spirits. You can get an updated version of that neoprene playmat. That's the thematic map that they went through, and it's been updated and tweaked.
So it actually looks, you can actually tell things. Yeah, you can actually read it.
They adjusted some of the contrast and lines and things to actually make it easier to see what regions are what regions and how they work.
Updated ocean boundaries, new terrain cues for easy identification, and revised color balance.
The other one was a little...
It was a little...
not ideal.
Yeah, it was not ideal.
Sucks if you bought that the first time.
Well, and the original one was 24 inches by 28, and this one is 30 by 35.
It's fucking huge.
Wow. Everything you can imagine, you can get in this.
Yep.
Yeah. You get a premium token pack with wood silkscreened components, which, good God, I want. A broken token insert that fits fucking everything up to this point. Although it does raise
released already.
No, I don't think this one has, because this one, I believe, is meant to hold all of them. They do say it will expand the top of the box 34 millimeters. So
about 3.5 centimeters. Over an inch.
Yes, it is about 3.5 centimeters because metric system is really easy to do those conversions.
Yep.
But yes, a little over an inch. So it will raise the box top, but I mean, you're fitting a ton of components in there.
And it'll still, it says, it still has enough overlap to close securely while organizing everything for efficient space management and also faster and easier setup.
Time to get some of those fancy rubber bands to go around the box.
Yeah. So in the
I mean, if you don't have that, you can just use some tape. It'll be fine.
No,
it's fine.
God, terrible person.
Duct tape.
Yeah. Duct tape. Duct tape. Yeah.
Sticks real
good.
That
will be secured.
You guys are making me nauseous. So in the Q&A episode last week, somebody had asked, like, what's the most you could see spending like on a blinged out version of a game? And I was like, I think I'd just struggle to do more than 200. I did the math. For me to get everything that I actually want from this one would be like somewhere between the 185 and then 299. It'd be like 223, I think.
Gotcha.
Because basically I want everything but the base set because I only have the base set.
I think that one runs about 185.
That 185 pledge, I think, didn't have something that I wanted.
What was that?
It's got broken token, premium token, playmat, promo pack, jagged earth.
Does not have the map. Oh, no, it does have the neoprene map.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, you'd spend about $200.
Oh, yeah, because it doesn't have the first expansion.
Oh, you don't have the first expansion.
I don't have the first expansion, and it does not have the first spirit promos, which I would have to. So I would end up getting the 185 and then manually adding on those two things, which I think would put. I can't remember. I think it put me at like 224.
Okay.
So yes, I crossed the 200 threshold. The week after I said 200 was probably the most I would spend.
Gotcha.
Fortunately for me,
it depends on the game, really.
Yeah.
So.
Fortunately for me, I just don't even have. I'm nowhere near having that money, so I'm just not going to be able to do it.
Are you still going to get the base, the expansion though?
Probably not through Kickstarter. If anything, I might like pledge. Well, I don't know. I need to find out. I need to read through and see if I can do like a $1 pledge.
You don't want to wait till May 2020.
I do not want to give them a massive fucking nearly a year and a half long interest-free $200 loan. But I might see if I can pledge like $1 so that I can pledge for some of the stuff that's going to actually be harder to find, like the promo packs and stuff. But I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, all I'll say is that Tidal Blades, same price as the expansion, and you get it about 7 months earlier.
Yeah, but I know I like Spirit Island. I'm not sure I will like Tidal Blades.
I don't think you would.
Probably not.
I would, though. I think you would like it too. Maybe.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This also looks good.
Yeah. That's Spirit Island Jagged Earth.
No, you can only like one thing, Jeff.
How dare you have nuanced opinions?
If you don't agree with me, then you're against me.
Yeah. I wish I liked Spirit Island more. It's a co-op game, and those are really right up my alley most of the time, but it's just so
for me,
micromanagey.
It just feels too co-op.
Yeah, like we need to think all this out every turn.
Yeah.
Which is how I already like to play games, so...
But this one takes, like, a long time to do that.
I feel like
hours
Megan and I knock it out in, like,
it must be great to play that in a 2-player game.
Yeah.
We'll play it 2 players sometime, Jeff.
I guess, maybe.
I'd love to.
Then you're just playing a game with Adrian?
But I'm playing a co-op game with Adrian.
Then the terrorists have really won.
Fuck you. Dick. Trying to be friends with Jeff here after he crushed me with a pallet. I feel like that's why he hates me.
Yeah, and I don't want him to feel bad and then do something he wouldn't normally do under regular circumstances.
Under duress.
Yes.
How is he the one under duress? I'm the one who got crushed.
I feel like Jeff, it'd be a pity play, Jeff.
Christ.
A lot of people like Spirit Island.
Yeah.
Yes. Real good. So, that's Spirit Island Jagged Earth. Go check it out. Next up is Wild Ascent. Another very well-funded one. $317,000 of its $70,000 goal. About 2,100 backers, but less than a week left to pledge this one for a lot of money.
Because it's one of them there miniatures games.
$199 being its most popular pledge, but there is also a $99 pledge that it is close behind in its backer amount.
Yeah, so this is a...
Well, the reason why it's $100 more is because it has an expansion in it.
Yes.
It's as much as the game.
Yes. $100 for the base game, $100 for the expansion, but you can get both.
Save yourself $1.
Also, it's estimated to deliver... I guess it's December. That's, 13 months. That's about right.
Anyway, so this is a game for 1 to 4 players that can be played either cooperatively or competitively, depending on what mode you want to play. I didn't see anywhere where they gave any time estimates, which is probably good because I'm sure they'd be wrong. They always are.
Yeah.
In every game of all time. But essentially, you could play.
Let's start at the top.
There's the cooperative version.
Cooperative / solo mode.
Yeah. Which
the hunt mode.
So the cooperative / solo version is the hunt. It's 1 to 4 players and takes multiple sessions to complete. Each player is going to choose 1 or more of the upgradable seekers for a total of 4. So like in a 1-player game, you're going to play all 4 of them. In a 4-player game, you're each going to play 1 of them. Do your math. Then you venture off into the dangerous and mystical wilds to track and capture creatures. You will be maintaining an encampment, erecting buildings, hiring workers, all of which will serve to support your seekers as you hunt these monsters. The primary goal is to survive 10 seasons so that you can then retire with all of your wealth and money. However, if all of you fall at the same time in the same battle, then the expedition ends and you all lose. So that is one of the ways to play, is that hunt mode. If, however, cooperation is not in your bailiwick.
So story-wise, you're hunting for monsters for a gladiatorial arena in this first co-op version.
Okay, yeah. And then if you want to play competitively,
you fight in that arena with those monsters.
Yes. And so in the arena mode, it's 2 or 4 player, and each player chooses an ascent, which is a champion that they will use to lead a bunch of those creatures that you were fighting in the hunt mode. You'll use them to fight in a kill or be killed, winner take all death match. So the objectives, you can either kill the other player's ascent or wipe out the entire enemy troop. And they don't really give a lot of information about the actual gameplay that goes into how you do that, other than
both the hunt and the arena both use the same combat and stuff like that, but it is a very different game otherwise outside of that.
Yeah, and like your ascents in the arena or your seekers in the hunt all come with like customizable boards and unique skills and things like that.
And things like that. But then you're running all these different creatures that all have their own abilities, all of which are like crazy miniatures.
This is definitely like a ridiculous miniatures game.
Yeah. They all look real nice. Shipping is not great.
Oof, yeah.
$25 on that shipping. One thing I didn't really see on here was a rule book.
They have in the different sections they have where you can click and be taken directly to the rules.
Okay.
So they actually do have rules. So you just have to scroll down to the arena mode or to the hunt mode, and then there's a picture that it says below it, crave the arena, check out the rulebook for Wild Ascent's arena mode by clicking the image above.
Yeah.
And I have confirmed it is actually clickable. It just takes you to wildascent.com/arena rulebook or wildascent.com/hunt rulebook. So
there's only like one Kickstarter exclusive like character on here. It's only $10, so that's nice. Doesn't have like a bunch of crazy like add-ons that are Kickstarter exclusive. It seems like there are some unlocks. The huge dragon is a Kickstarter exclusive in the expansion, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
That means you have to pay like $200 now, especially because the core game doesn't really have any Kickstarter exclusive stuff in it except like one monster. It's
the feathered serpent. Yeah.
Yeah. All the minis look great. The video they actually show like there are miniatures in people's hands in the video, which is rare for any of these kind of things. They're all like 3D models and stuff. They have actual like minis that they have on a board and they've played it, and it's great looking, at least.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that this will be better than Mythic Battle Pantheon.
Yeah.
That is like you get it for the minis and then the game was just like
Yeah, I mean, these are both available on Tabletopia right now, both versions, which is interesting.
So you can check it out.
I'm not sure. I want to use Tabletopia more, but it's just sort of like,
hey, you got a video card now.
Oh.
I'm sure Tabletopia could run on my computer.
I don't
currently.
I think it'll be a little unwieldy on your tablet though.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, this looks cool. I just wish it was not our $200 miniature game of the week. I could put that $200 towards maybe Horizon Zero Dawn pledge.
Right, yeah.
For like, I think their all-in was like $380.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Wild Ascent. It's kind of 2 games in one. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And last up here on Kickstarter
is Tome of Holding. Well-funded, $35,000 of its $5,000 goal, 304 backers, and a little bit less than 2 weeks left to pledge this one, with its most popular pledge being $100.
Yes, so this is more in the realm of fancy D&D style component things that
are standard for stuff we like to cover.
Yes, yeah, we like to throw these in occasionally, especially because basically anything that's made out of awesome like handcrafted wood, I get all drooly for. Like even when I didn't play a lot of D&D, I always wanted these things. And then now that I'm playing D&D, I really want these things. But the Tome of Holding is essentially, it looks like a book, like a wooden book cover case, and it opens and closes like a book. But inside of it, you can kind of customize it to hold different things. So like you can get it set up to where it's got like a dice tray that holds the dice in their own little spaces. Then like no matter what it is, when you open it up, it becomes a dice tray. But you can get like a thing to hold your individual dice, to hold your minis, to hold a pen, to hold cards, whether they're tarot sized or regular sized or sleeved. There's a whole bunch of different options that you can get for the inside pages.
And you can make the outside fancier too.
Yes.
The $100 one is the artwork is very
intricate,
whereas the $70 one is just wood with a on the spine says Tome of Holding.
Yeah, the $70 one is like nothing. Like you don't even really get a page thing. Like the page section is just another kind of dice tray. So it's basically a fold open dice tray. It's a box, you can put things in there, but they'll just be loose. There's no organization. And you're very limited in your wood choices. But if you throw on $30 more, you can get some fancy wood choices, some sweet, just complete cover art. You can choose any of the pages that they have available.
The wood types.
Yeah, all of that is just wide open. So you can do a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, it seems like $90 is kind of the sweet spot for getting all the internals.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you're already going $90, what's another $10 to get the sweet
externals?
Especially because that's what everybody's gonna see, man.
And there's some add-ons. You can do custom text on it. You can just get additional ones, obviously, and then they even sell a tome holder that's leather to hold it for you.
I was trying to figure out where you put the tome holder. Like, is it through like a belt loop?
It definitely it looks like it's meant to go like on a belt. So like if you were cosplaying a sorcerer, you could have it as like your spell book that you then flip open, and it's like a couple dice and the deck of spell cards or something.
Okay, really nerded up.
Oh yeah. And then for a $10 add-on, you can level up the wood for any of those base pledges. So if you wanted to do the $70 pledge, you could then spend the extra 10 to get more fancy wood options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a pretty expensive dice tray that folds out from book style. If you want to hand someone a book and you're like, oh, I'm about to read something. No, you're about to roll fucking dice.
Let's roll.
Yeah.
Roll for initiative, bitch.
You could do a very elaborate and underwhelming April Fool's joke.
Roll for initiative. You have to wait, and then you punch them in the face. See what they rolled.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Tome of Holding. Just more D&D nerd shit that I really, really want.
And never get.
Someday.
I
mean, tonight's that like what $1.6 billion Mega Millions?
Tomorrow.
NPR had
tonight.
NPR
Wednesday,
threw it to their nerd section, and they came up with like the odds that you would win.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1 in 300 million last time.
Yeah,
it's probably far worse now.
No, your odds of winning are always the same.
Yeah,
I mean your odds of being the sole winner are probably drastically go down every time.
Yeah, well, and they changed how they made it a lot less likely to win, so that's why it has gone to $1.6 billion.
Yeah,
and that's why people talk about it more.
Yeah, exactly, because
it gets bigger.
Once it gets bigger, people are more likely to buy it.
I think the stat was $500 million, and then it starts being like, ooh, everyone's really talking about that $500 million.
Yeah.
I think take home, if you won, was still like $637 million.
Yeah.
I think the 1.6 now, you're up to like the lump sum is
maybe
like
I was still
8 to 9.
Maybe I was still looking at the old previous one.
Yeah, it's like $800,000 to $900,000, and then you pay a shit ton of taxes on that. $1 million. 800. See, my brain cannot even contemplate.
We're gonna take all the money, and you're gonna get $800,000.
You know what? I'll take that deal.
I would also probably take that deal.
So apparently, for the $1.6 billion, the immediate cash option would be $904 million. In which case, the federal withholding would take $217 million off of that. So,
and then your state withholding, depending on what state you're in, because it is counted as income at that point.
Yeah. Some people are getting paid, but then you are getting paid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like it might not even be worth it at that point.
Why even try?
Poor shit.
You can't even. Yeah, I don't even have $500 million now. What's the point?
If you had $500 million and you invested it like at 4% interest, you would just make millions and like tens of millions of dollars.
Oh, I know.
I can be like all those rich people that put everyone else down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Megan was asking me like what we were laying in bed like, and that was like our pillow talk the other night. It was
Of course
like,
it was.
what would we do? And I was like, come on, I know you just like go travel the world and leave me behind. Bye, Adrian.
Bye.
But she's like, what would you do? And I was like, I'd build a kick-ass studio for the Mile High Game guys.
First thing,
Like
awesome studio.
just the fanciest of studios.
Which somehow you still try and keep in this
Fit in
room.
this
Yes.
spot.
We're like, Adrian, come on, just get a studio space like 150,000. You're like, no, it's got to be in this house.
We turn the house into a studio, and then he gets a new house.
Yeah, clearly.
And
Yeah.
I still have to drive 22 minutes.
Actually, the new studio will be in Boulder. Thank
Oh,
you
okay.
very much.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll have a helicopter to get there.
Oh, okay.
You fuckers
You
got
know
to
what? You'll
drive.
pick me up with the helicopter. God damn it!
Greedy much? Jesus.
Jeez, Jeff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wraps up news and Kickstarter. We are done.
Yes.
As we keep rambling about other unrelated things. And as is tradition after news and Kickstarter, we move on to listener feedback, in which we actually have an email. I feel like it's been ages since Jeff had an email.
Yeah,
I think it's only been like 2 weeks, but
Maybe
3
maybe
maybe.
because no questions came in through emails even.
No.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email. This one comes from Matt in Kansas, titled "Cut Them Down at the Legs." Everyone but Adrian.
All right, Adrian, take your headphones off.
Yep. Please leave the room.
Yeah. That's really why we got Matt to send this.
Is it true that with Edward already moving to Boston, Amanda already moved to Florida? I'll just correct the email there. And great winter temperatures offered from Andrew.
B in Slack in Texas.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is definitely a Slack conversation.
Okay, so
reference
people
here.
who aren't in Slack will have no context, or even if they were in Slack,
Well,
if they
That's
don't.
why I'm trying to give them context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, who wants that?
Andrew B, one of the fans who came to Denver.
Yes.
And then Zach and I left Denver while he was in town.
This was when Adrian was complaining about 64-degree temperatures today. I believe he was complaining in Slack about
Yeah.
it. Everyone else was like,
Well, somebody told me to move to Texas, and I was like, no, I was complaining about 64-degree weather in Denver today. I'm not moving to fucking Texas.
and great winter temperatures offered from Andrew in Texas, that you guys feared losing the heart and soul of the podcast, or at least the plush recording studio, Adrian, when he was looking at a job in Transylvania.
This is in relation to the
So
Pennsylvania.
it's still, this is all the, is it true that you guys feared losing the heart and soul? So
you guys used the same stingray that killed Steve Irwin to hobble Adrian by going after his Achilles' heels so he would miss the plane? Should have used an emu, much cleaner cuts, and they are easier to get into the country if so.
Especially because we had to search for the ones, like we questioned a lot of stingrays.
Yeah.
and they were very.
And it was a long
It was a
time
lot of
ago.
mums the
I'm
word.
personally shocked that stingray still existed.
Yeah,
And that Jeff then somehow got him turned into a pallet that was then loaded with empty kegs that he then rammed into my Achilles.
Full speed, no less.
Full speed. Oh, it was a very shocking experience for me. Or it
Full
was
speed.
like,
So is that like 2 miles an hour?
yeah, it's very slow.
It is not fast.
It's a brisk walk.
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot of weight behind that.
It's
So, force times momentum.
Thankfully, they were empty.
Thankfully, yeah. Would have been much worse.
I probably would not have been carrying so tall a stack. If
It's
they
only
were.
like a 3-stack.
Yeah.
Carry 3 stacks on the forklift.
Not that fast, though.
Oh, not that fast.
No.
True. Especially
Not at 2 miles an hour.
Whoa.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email,
Indeed.
especially one that has mostly to do with our Slack channel, which you should also check out.
Yes. Links are always in the show notes, which you can find over at milehighgameguys.com.
We chit chat about a lot of bullshit.
Oh, yeah. The Slack
Yes, we
channel
do.
it's pretty much the greatest.
I'm glad I can't see what sports looks like.
Sports is a shit show.
A lot of sports stuff.
I'm sure.
The most recent sports talk was making fun of the Raiders for trading Amari Cooper to the Cowboys for a first-round draft pick, and ESPN claiming that the Raiders would have more first-round draft picks in 2019 than wins in 2018. which seems very likely.
All right.
Oh, fuck the Raiders. Moving on from emails in the listener feedback section, we go to Paulo's Corner, where we have a pair of responses. From Wednesday's episode of the Porcupine Protocol, we have the following.
Yeah.
Paulo says, really like to hear all the banter and even enjoy all those tidbits at the start of the podcast that have little to nothing to do with board games. It helps us to connect with you guys. Also, regarding the new segment, it's a pretty cool idea, and I think it would be good to be a regular feature on the podcast, and for that, it's probably better to do less games in one episode, maybe 2 per episode, so that way you can maintain it regularly for a long time instead of doing 5 or 6 at a time in one episode and then only doing it again 1 month later or so. We've gotten a fair amount of feedback through Slack and through various other channels in addition to YouTube about that. And so we're mulling things over and thinking how we want to do it, but we'll be updating you as how that Mile High Game Guys look back. What did we come up with the name for it? We had a shitty name for it.
The look back machine.
Because Wayback Machine was probably trademarked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mile High Game Guys look back machine. We'll have some more information for how we're going to approach that in the future as we take in all of this awesome feedback you guys are sending us.
Just imagine Pink Floyd Welcome to the Machine playing the whole time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then from, again, in Paulo's Corner, on the Put to the Question episode, he says, great episode. And stop saying for people to come to my corner. So whatever you do not go to youtube.com/Mile High Game Guys. Watch/listen to episodes over there and
watch
then comment.
a picture.
Watch a static picture as you listen to the audio, and then comment, because that is Paulo's corner. And how dare you? How dare you? That
once again, that was Portuguese.
Yes.
Yep.
We'll get you.
They will. That wraps up Paulo's Corner stuff. And so we can move over to BGG, where we had some follow-up to some previous episodes. Zach, do you have that pulled up?
Yes, I do. This is from the Our Put to the Question 3 episode. Matt asks, I forgot to ask if you watched the video of the AFL Grand Final I sent you, and what did you think of it? We watched it, and it was a lot of people running around in a circle.
I did not watch it.
I'd completely forgotten about it. Gotcha. Until I saw that comment, and then I forgot about that comment until you just read that comment, and then I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I really have meant to watch it, because I really want to understand how weird and different Australian rules football is from American football.
Well, really, not having the context of the teams, it was like, okay, well, this team was winning for a while, and then but this other team won near the end. And it looked like a combination of like soccer and ultimate frisbee with how it was like,
all right.
Yeah, okay. I didn't really get it, but it's also it was one of those things where it like trying to watch cricket when you don't know any of the rules and you don't have anybody there to give you context. You're like, I have no idea what's going on.
I think there's a really good skit online YouTube that I've seen that I think makes no sense. I think it's like Whitest Kids You Know or something like that.
Was it that Mitchell and Webb look? Because they did one about the crickets, the ashes and stuff like that.
I don't remember.
I've seen all of Whitest Kids You Know, and they haven't done cricket.
Okay. There was one where they like got a ladder and jumped over the fence or something.
No. Okay.
Call.
And that's definitely not Whitest Kids You Know.
Probably British. I mean, cricket's British, or what I meant. Anyways.
That wraps up all of the listener feedback that we have for this episode. As always, if you want to get a hold of us, there are a ton of different ways to do so. You can follow us on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
And I'm Jeff_MHGG.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, /Mile High Game Guys. We have our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731, where Zach puts up weekly threads about different episodes that we're going to be doing, reviews, discussions, puts of the questions,
top tens, that sort of stuff.
All of that stuff. This Friday, be sure to tune in, where we will be reviewing Black Orchestra, where we will all be teaming up with Tom Cruise to kill Hitler. Because that's what that game is.
Yes.
You can also always send us emails. Just eager.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
If you want to get a hold of us. And then always check out our website, milehighgameguys.com, where we have episodes posted up over there with complete show notes, including links to things like the Slack channel, which, as we have mentioned, is now spawning entire email chains that are devoid of context. So go jump on over there and come join us chit-chatting about our shenanigans. Yeah. And as always on Wednesdays, we would like to thank our awesome sponsors, Gray Fox Games. Their newest game, Reavers of Midgard, is just right around the corner.
Next week.
So 1 week and 1 day after you are listening to this, again, assuming you download it immediately and listen to it immediately, because of course you should. 1 day, 1 week, they will be launching Reavers of Midgard, the follow-up to Champions of Midgard, their Viking worker placement dice chucky game of awesomeness.
I have a chief mechanics list here. Resource management, set completion, drafting, simple worker placement. I believe there is one worker.
Okay.
Yep.
And synergy. This was a kind of a older preview of it, so there wasn't a lot of the combat mechanic in there. The person also said the weight kind of floats around to 3 to 3.5, somewhere in there. I think Champions was floating around in there too.
I think it was on the lower. I think I'm like 2 point
something.
Yeah. With the expansion or with Valhalla.
2.53.
Yeah. And the Valhalla, I think raised it like 2.7 or something like that.
So, I think it's going to be pretty good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here.
So yeah. That is Reavers of Midgard. Like I said, coming out 1 week and 1 day from the time you listen to this episode. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement?
As is tradition, Gray Fox Games, quality games cleverly crafted. Also, unfortunately, killing is one of those things that gets easier the more you do it.
I have no real world experience to back that up, but it sounds right.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
We did play a lot of Kingdom Death Monster.
Mm-hmm.
Did it get easier to kill the more you did it?
The losses get easier to take.
Yes. I remember the first character we lost in the first game we played. It was like, oh man, no. Yeah, this one was just like, all right, well, head exploded.
Yep,
that's fine.
There goes another head explosion.
Yep.
Oh no, I lost all my survival because fuck you.
Right on. Well, that wraps up this episode. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. As always, I have been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Slaughter Jeff.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Get these nice finger pops going in.
Yeah.
I feel everyone can hear my pen.
I mean,
I can hear it.
Punchboard Media,
where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.